One, you're on the air.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. As always, before we get started, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. So everybody please rise. And Councilman Borelli, would you lead us tonight?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just take a moment to remember all our servicemen that aren't home with their families. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, once again, and families. Thank you for being here tonight for this evening's Town Board meeting. Tonight is a Town Board work session, but we have a special voting meeting prior to the work session agenda items. At 6 p.m. this evening, the board met in executive session to discuss a litigation update with our town council, Greg Fulchetti. We had a personnel item, police chief vacancy, and budget fiscal year 2021, also personnel, that the board discussed in executive session. So for the record, all town board members are present with us this evening, as is our town clerk, Ann Spofford, right in front of me here to the right. Town council, Greg Fulchetti, is all the way to my left. Jimmy Gilchrist is here, and Mary Ann Maxwell, our town controller, is here as well. Rich Franzetti just raised his hand in the back. He's the town engineer. They're here for items that are on the work session agenda tonight, but they're here also for the start of the meeting. So what we're going to do is, the first item that we're going to do tonight is the Police Awards Recognition Ceremony. So we have many of our police officers are present with us this evening that are going to be receiving awards by Commanding Officer Lieutenant John Dearman of the Police Department. This is a special evening for our law enforcement officers here in Carmel. This is for outstanding work that they performed in the line of duty. There's life-saving awards that you're going to hear tonight. There's meritorious police duty, there's excellent police duty, and there's letters of commendation. It means that these officers perform their duties above and beyond the call of what would be normal police duties. So certainly life-saving awards are very special. I was fortunate enough, I received a few during my career on Carmel PD, which I was very proud of. And so I know what it is and I know what they're feeling. It's a great feeling when you're presented with an award such as the ones that they're going to be receiving tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Commanding Officer Lieutenant John Dearman. He'll be presenting the awards to the officers. John?
Thank you, Kenny. This is probably long overdue. The department hasn't done an awards night in quite some time, probably about 8 years, and it's a pleasure, especially with this young new department, to issue out some awards. They went on a crazy run this summer, and so they deserve it. The first award is going to be for, on August 13th, 2019, Sergeant Michael Bodo, Officer Christopher Fox, and Officer Sandy Kreco responded to a Mayapack residence to perform a welfare check on a possibly suicidal female. Upon arrival, P.O. Fox and Sergeant Bodo observed a male unconscious in the passenger seat of a vehicle parked in the driveway of the residence. The male was unresponsive to both verbal and physical commands. Sergeant Bodo administered 1 dose of Narcan to the male, who regained consciousness and was extremely disoriented. POs Fox and Kreco made entry to the residence to search for the suicidal female and any other endangered parties. 2 females were found unconscious and unresponsive to verbal commands. 1 came to shortly after and was extremely disoriented and appeared to be severely under the influence of an unknown substance. The second female remained unconscious and was administered 2 doses of Narcan, 1 by P.O. Kreco and 1 by P.O. Fox. The second female regained consciousness a couple of minutes after the Narcan was administered. Due to their professionalism, decisive actions in recognizing multiple overdoses, and quick response in delivering aid, Sergeant Bodo, Police Officer Fox, and Police Officer Kreco are awarded life-saving medals. Sergeant Bodo is actually working right now and out on a rollover car accident.
Yeah. Hey, Chris?
Why don't you guys stay up here and let everyone else
Sandy,
go?
Sandy.
Sandy,
Stand. Why don't you line up?
line up and stand over there and then anyone can come up here, just so you guys.
They were actually Sandy's gonna get back on the road, he's working.
Okay.
Chris Fox is getting another award, and then he's getting back out on the
All right.
road.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Okay.
Taskmaster.
Listen,
All right.
That's okay.
the town doesn't sleep.
Yes, sir.
On September 26, 2019, police officers Christopher Fox and Neil Brown responded to a call in Mayapack for a motor vehicle accident with injuries and entrapment. Upon arrival, P.O. Brown radioed that the engine compartment was on fire, as well as the tree that the car had struck, and that the flames were hitting the power lines above them. P.O.'s Fox and Brown were not having success with getting the driver out of the vehicle due to the extensive damage, and the fire was beginning to enter the passenger compartment of the vehicle. P.O. Fox was then able to reach in through the rear window and drag the driver out through the back of the car. P.O.'s Fox and Brown then carried the driver across the street and away from the fire and turned the driver over to EMS. For their actions and for their bravery, P.O. Neil Brown is awarded the Meritorious Police Duty Medal, and Officer Fox is awarded the Exceptional Merit Medal. Congratulations.
Susan.
You'll take pictures with that? He's got to get back to it. I was going to go in chronological order, but because so many guys getting awards are working, I'm just trying to wing it and get them back out on the road. On August 4th, 2020, during the day tour and into the afternoon shift, Tropical Storm Isaias struck the town of Carmel, bringing high gusting winds and torrential downpours. The police department was subsequently overwhelmed with calls for service, including trees falling on homes, trees on the roads, live and burning downed power lines, and calls for medical assistance. At one point, a tree limb fell on a police car, damaging the windshield as Officer Shea was driving to a call. During the night, Officer Kloskowski delivered an extension cord to a man who was on oxygen but could not reach the emergency outlet he needed for his oxygen machine to work. Police officers Arthur Kloskowski, Daniel Shea, James Saccone, Vincenzo Rocco, Vincent Serio, Detective Bryant Ford, who, while working as a detective, just jumped into a marked car and started picking up calls, Sergeant Michael Bodo and Sergeant James Terrazas all worked during the storm and responded to every call without hesitation and with exceptional professionalism under extremely hazardous conditions. They are awarded a letter of commendation. Danny. You go wait over there. Cereal. Thank you. Detective. Very good. Officer Kloskowski, who's also listed as getting a letter of commendation, is also at the car accident right now. Also during the storm, I have 2 letters of commendations for our 2 dispatchers. On August 4th, while all this was going on, as phone calls continuously flooded the police department desk, dispatchers Bratz and Stern maintained their composure and professionalism with each and every call. They assured that an officer was dispatched to every emergency and documented nearly 100 locations of trees and wires down, which was then relayed to NISEC and the proper highway departments. For their actions during a very tumultuous time, as I observed firsthand, Dispatcher Gene Bratz and Dispatcher Megan Stern, who is downstairs dispatching right now, received letters of commendation. During the height of the storm, Carmel police received a 911 dispatch for a possible overdose in Carmel. Upon Officer Rocco's arrival, he discovered an unconscious and unresponsive 29-year-old male. Officer Rocco recognized it to be an opioid overdose and administered 2 doses of Narcan to the male, who did regain consciousness. EMS response was delayed due to the storm and the road closures, and Officer Rocco's decisive actions proved to be life-saving. He is hereby awarded a life-saving medal. Good job. On September 13th, 2019, at approximately 5 p.m., the Carmel Police received a call regarding a missing woman with dementia. She was last seen at a local hair salon approximately 2 hours earlier, and she did not possess a cell phone. Dispatcher Stern took it upon herself to contact the New York State Police Intelligence Center and entered the missing woman's license plate into the statewide system. The vehicle did hit on an LPR in Orange County. Dispatcher Stern then quickly and accurately entered the woman into the statewide system as a missing person, noting special attention to Orange County agencies. At approximately 8 p.m., Carmel Police was contacted by state police in Chemung County, who had located the missing woman after she was involved in a minor property damage car accident. Dispatcher Stern's knowledge and proficiency in the various law enforcement systems we utilize was crucial to the safe and timely recovery of an endangered missing person. She's also going to receive a letter of commendation for how she handled that call. On February 21st, 2020, police officer at the time, Brian Ford, who's now a detective, responded to a Mahopac residence for a report of a male possibly in cardiac arrest. P.O. Ford assessed the situation and quickly realized that it was actually an opioid overdose. P.O. Ford administered 2 doses of Narcan, and within a minute, the male had regained consciousness. For his astute observations and decisive actions in rendering immediate aid, P.O. Ford is awarded an Excellent Police Duty Award and a life-saving medal. Let me know if Arthur shows up. On March 6, 2017, police officers Serio and Detz responded to a Mahopac Falls residence for a welfare check when family members couldn't get in touch with the 82-year-old man who lived there after he was due to arrive in Florida. Upon the officers' arrival, they found the man's cousin and neighbors searching around the exterior of the house and property in an attempt to locate the elderly gentleman. Officers Serio and Detz located an unlocked garage window and gained access into the residence. They found the man lying prone on his bedroom floor and unresponsive. The officers immediately began giving medical assistance and called for an ambulance. If not for Officers Serio and Detz's instincts and intuition, the male would have remained in danger at his home. For their swift and decisive actions, they are awarded an Excellent Police Duty and life-saving medal. On September 12, 2020, police officer Kloskowski responded to a residence for a male subject with a severe laceration to his hand. On arrival, P.O. Kloskowski found the man on the floor with a large amount of blood around him. His hand was wrapped, but still bleeding profusely. P.O. Kloskowski applied a tourniquet to the man's arm in order to stop the bleeding until EMS arrived on the scene. For his quick thinking and actions, P.O. Kloskowski is issued an Excellent Police Duty Medal. This is the last one. On August 6, 2020, Carmel Police responded to a Mahopac residence for a report of a 2-year-old boy who had drowned in the family pool. Sergeant Russo, Police Officer Smith, Police Officer Garcia, and Police Officer Egan, along with deputies from the Putnam County Sheriff's Department, acted swiftly in responding away from the scene as they cleared roadways and shut down intersections in order to give Mahopac Ambulance an obstructed route to Putnam Hospital. For their swift thinking and decisive actions, Sergeant Russo, Officer Garcia, Officer Egan, and Officer Smith are awarded letters of commendation. Upon Officer Shea's arrival at the residence, Shea was met by family members at the end of the driveway. He then ran to the rear of the house where the boy was lying face up on the pool deck, being attended to by his mother and aunt. Officer Shea assessed that the boy was not breathing and did not have a pulse. He began CPR and did a reassessment after clearing fluid from the boy's airway, but still no pulse was present. Officer Shea continued performing CPR, and eventually the boy's heart began beating on its own again. At this time, a paramedic from EMS Star arrived on scene and took over medical care. Police Officer Daniel Shea did not hesitate to act in rendering life-saving first aid, and thus without question saved the child's life. He is hereby awarded a life-saving medal, as well as meritorious police.
John, is the family here with the child?
No.
Okay.
So as you see, we had a busy last year and a half or so. A lot of young officers doing a lot of good things out in the community. And, you know, we should get back to doing this every year, so
Yeah,
keep
I
it
agree.
up. All right?
Yeah.
But thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Great job.
Appreciate
Good job,
it.
Oil.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Ken. For the people that question why we have a local police department, you just saw the reason why we have a local police department.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you,
I'm
Mike.
I'm
Yes.
so proud of each and every one of
Yeah.
them. They brought me to tears tonight. They really did.
Yeah. They do an excellent job,
Yep.
and we're very proud of each and every one of them, as Mike stated, and Susie, and the rest of the board concurs. All right,
Thank
keep
you
up
to
the good work,
family
guys.
members also.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you for the
Thank
hard
you.
work that
Yeah.
they do.
Okay, that was good. And as the lieutenant stated, this type of recognition should be done annually.
Yep, I
You know,
think so
so
too.
I concur, and that's what we'll do.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, so with that completed, so the town board tonight has a town board special voting meeting. There's two resolutions that we have to act on tonight because they're time sensitive, and they have to be acted on this evening. So I need a motion to open the special town board voting meeting for tonight.
I'll make a motion.
So moved by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilman Shannell. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so with that being open, the first resolution for tonight is adopting the tentative budget as the preliminary budget. Councilman Shannell, would you read resolution number 1, please?
Resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel hereby adopts the town supervisor's tentative budget as the preliminary budget for the fiscal year 2021. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi and Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannell.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Shea.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, second resolution tonight is a resolution authorizing the scheduling of a public hearing in connection with the preliminary budget, and the date for the public hearing is November 4th, 2020. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read resolution 2, please?
Sure. Resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel hereby authorizes the scheduling of a public hearing in regard to the preliminary budget for fiscal year 2021, including the general town fund, highway funds, as well as all water districts, sewer districts, park districts, fire districts, garbage districts, fire protection districts, and lighting districts. And be it further resolved that said public hearing shall be held on the 4th day of November, 2020, at Town Hall, 60 McAlpine Avenue, Mahopac, New York, at 7:00 p.m., or as soon thereafter that evening as possible, at which all interested person shall be heard. And be further resolved that the proposed salaries of the following officials for the fiscal year 2021 shall be advertised as required by Section 108 of the Town Law of the State of New York as follows in said notice. Town Supervisor, $127,296. Town council members, $22,276.80. Town clerk, $97,063.20. Town highway superintendent, $131,539.20. Be it further resolved, the town clerk, Ann Spotford, is hereby authorized and directed to publish the notice of said public hearing in the official newspapers of the town a minimum of 5 days prior to November 4th, 2020. And be it further resolved that the town clerk of the town of Carmel is hereby authorized and directed to post the notice of said public hearing on the town bulletin board a minimum of 5 days prior to November 4th, 2020. And be it further resolved that a copy of the preliminary budget be available at the office of the town clerk, where it may be inspected by any interested persons during office hours. I offer this resolution as read.
Seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannell.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Short.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, so that completes the two resolutions that we have on for tonight's special voting meeting. And as you heard tonight, so my tentative budget is now the preliminary budget, and the town board collectively will continue to work on the budget until it's adopted on November 20th. Or this year it'll be November 18th, but it has to be adopted by November 20th. So we have time between now and then to continue work on the budget. So it's now the preliminary budget for the town of Carmel. Okay, so I need a motion to close this special voting meeting.
Second.
So moved by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Thanks, Annie.
Yep, thanks, Ann.
Thank you. Good
Oh,
night.
yeah.
Yeah, number 7, Kenny.
7. All right. So I need a motion to open the town board work session.
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Shannell, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the special town board this town board work session is open. So what I'm going to do is, let's do the first item, review of town board minutes for September 23rd and 30th and October 7th, 2020. Any comments on that? No. All right, so what I'm going to do is, because we have a Boy Scout here that's going to present his project, his Eagle Scout project, I'm going to move agenda item number 7 up to number 1. So we're going to start with that. So 7 is James Gilchrist, Director of Recreation and Parks. Consider Eagle Scout project, Horseshoe Pit and message board at Sycamore Park. And the Eagle Scout candidate is Ryan Kick. Ryan, thanks for being here. And it's Boy Scout Troop 371, Mahopac, New York. How you doing, Ryan?
Doing good. How you doing?
Okay, so you're going to present your Eagle Scout project?
All right, awesome.
Okay,
So just a little bit of background about myself. I'm a senior at Mahopac High School. I've been involved in scouting for my entire life, and I've always strived towards my Eagle Scout project. And I'm really excited to propose a project that'll both help me achieve the rank of Eagle Scout and help my community out. Another thing, I've worked at Sycamore Park for the last, besides this summer, of course, but 4 summers before that. I'm also a member of the Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department and a Mahopac varsity wrestling team. So the first part of the project, of course, is the installation of the horseshoe pits. This will utilize a space in the park that is not being used right now. It'll be put in. I don't know if anyone has ever been there, but it'll be put in right next to the bocce ball court. There's a little unused part. I think it used to be a shuffleboard court, but now it's not usable. So we'll be utilizing something that is not usable now. It'll be good for the town. There'll be installation of 2 regulation horseshoe pits. One of the regulations taking the center. The second part of the project will be installation of the message board. This message board we bought Uline message board. It's on the 3rd page, I think, if you guys can see there. This just entails just digging 2 holes, putting the stakes in, then filling it in with cement. In total, this project will cost about $1,000, but this is all fundraised by Mace Scout Troop. We're just going to be installing them at the park. And of course, proper PPE will be used, boots, face masks,
And one of the things is the new computers. Okay, I think that's it, John, right?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Okay, next up, Mary Ann Maxwell, Town Controller. Mary Ann is here to consider request to authorize for the purchase and installation of 2020 IT equipment for the Town of Carmel. Mary Ann?
Thank you. A couple years ago, Councilwoman McDonough, myself, and Ann Pascarella set up a technology fund, and each year we budget to replace anywhere from 10 to figure 15 desktops a year. Years ago, we had to borrow because we didn't do this, and it was very costly to do that. Having to borrow to replace. I think we had to do at that point like 60 computers. So each year we do budget. Sullivan Data looks at our inventory every year, sees what computers are due to be replaced, and we take it from there. So Ann Pascarella and I met with Glenn Sullivan a couple weeks ago and determined that 13 desktops do need to be replaced in 2020. This was discussed with him last year as well, and we were supposed to do it in March, but obviously because of COVID it didn't happen. So we reviewed it again, upgraded the pricing. We also included on the computers to get the cameras, because a lot of the meetings that we're having now are Zoom meetings, and our computers right now do not have cameras, or I think they have microphones, but they don't have cameras. So we are getting that set up with every new desktop we get. We are getting a camera added to that. So there are 13 desktops included in this, in the assessor's office, town clerk's office, engineering, highway, planning, tax receiver, police, and also one for the TV broadcast room. So that total is $17,173.58. These are Hewlett Packards. They are on the state contract, so they're state contract pricing. The second section of this sheet is bills by Sullivan Data. This is professional services. We do have a contract with Sullivan Data, so the total amount billed by Sullivan Data will be $11,631.40. $6,600 of that includes batteries, UPS, power things, Microsoft licenses, and whatnot. So, towards the bottom of the page, $6,608 is to replace the older main firewall with a new unit, and $8,171 involves a Sycamore wireless system. So we're going to be installing a wireless network, I guess, over in Sycamore. So that total is $8,171. So the other cost is $14,779.72. So the budget balance in 2020 will be $27,637. So 2020 total upgrades is $52,362.
Okay.
Marianne, does one of these, I see assessor's laptop,
Yes.
is that included on it? Do they use the laptops?
He does, yeah. Glenn does use it, yes. Yeah.
And he doesn't have one right now that's,
I think he does have one. I don't know how old
got
it
an
is,
older
but
one.
He has an
it's-
older
Yeah,
one?
he does have one.
Okay.
And I can see how,
and what are they
on
going
my
to do?
other sheet, I have how old it was. but
Okay, yeah,
I can let you know.
all right.
It's
And
a
do we-
Glenn D
The older
desktop,
one's
let's
gonna
see,
get to one.
upgrade,
Okay.
People in his office.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's okay, because I remember when we were doing the spreadsheet, so,
Yeah, I can let you know.
yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
And then Kenny just said he'll probably give the other laptop to someone else in the office to
Could be,
use
yeah,
if it could
exactly.
be.
Yeah,
With Scott.
because
Updated.
it's still,
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
can still use it.
okay. Perfect, thank you.
Quick question, for the software
Yes.
information, we purchase that as a town for all the computers? You have to purchase them separately, or is it
No,
something
we-
we're going to state bid?
Which
For
ones?
for licenses, say like
The
Microsoft
licenses,
Word
is
and
that's
Cell
all,
Access?
that's all like a lump sum purchase.
Okay.
Yeah. Sullivan Data, purchases it and then bills us for it.
Okay,
But, yeah.
That's part of
I'm
the-
sure it's all on bid, these are all on state contracts,
Okay. Yeah.
bid pricing.
so that's the best price we could get.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. So,
Good, thank you, Mary
Good,
Ann.
Mary Ann,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks.
sure. Thank you.
All right. Okay, next item on the agenda, I'm going to handle that for Mike Carnazza. This is a training schedule for code officials for 2020. The Department of State requires that all town code officials take a 24-hour of in-service training through the Department of State. Joe Wolichowski and Mike Carnazza both need their annual credits for the state certification. The online seminar is $50 each. In addition, Ed Spadaro, the Deputy Building Inspector, took his Class 4, 5, 6 online for no cost to the town. Classes 1, 2, and 3 previously approved in December of 2019. The basic training classes cover his 24-hour of in-service training requirement for 2020. The board, because this is training, the board is required to approve any in-service training if there's a cost to it for the town board staff. So that's why this is before you tonight, just to authorize the training for Joe Wolichowski and Mike Carnazza at $50 each. Okay, any questions about this?
Nope.
This is annual training for them to keep their certification.
Right.
So they have to do it, they're required to do it.
So
Okay.
Kenny, this is the schedule that they're going to
Yes,
do?
yes.
In the back?
Yeah,
Oh,
here's the
okay.
schedule here. And Mike has already started his, I
Okay.
believe. But there's additional training that you see
Okay.
on here for Monday, October 19th,
Yep,
Tuesday, October 20th, and Wednesday, October 21st,
okay.
that they're going to be taking.
Okay, perfect.
And they're going to be doing it during the course of the day.
Yeah, good.
All right?
Thank you.
Okay, so that's 4, 5, 6, and, yeah, 5 and 6 are Rich Franzetti, town engineer. And 5 is to consider a request to acknowledge emergency repairs and services for Carmel Water District 2. Rich?
Good evening. This is the repair acknowledgement. This is memorandums being presented to the board to advise the emergency invoices that were submitted in payment of excess of $10,000 for services rendered. Summary of the work is in Carmel Water 2, there's a water main repair. On September 17th and 18th, Infomark, the operators of Water 2, alerted the engineering department that Cook Excavating was called in to repair a 4-inch steel main that was cracked in 2 places at 184 Route 52 ShopRite Plaza. There's an invoice in the amount of $12,579.51 for these repairs, which included the dig-up and placement of 2 repair clamps on the pipe and the backfill and restoration of the area. This is a service line for ShopRite Plaza, and the Comptroller's Office has been advised to pay the invoice as this service was engaged as an emergency, and we're going to be billing the property owner for that.
Okay. Is that it for 5? Rich?
That is, just so the board knows, that happened overnight, and the ShopRite tank did drain empty. So that's how bad the leak was. It was going into a storm basin right adjacent to the property there. So it wasn't like, normally when everybody sees a water main break, you see it out. This one was just, we had to go and search. There was a lot of searching done out there for that work. So,
Rich, just a quick question. Who bills the property owner for the services? Who takes care of that?
I've asked Mary Ann to do that. It would be the controller.
And they would follow up on it to make sure it was Sheila.
Mary Ann. I'm pointing to Mary Ann. She's not there.
Yeah. All right, just
She
as
went to
long
dinner.
as.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to follow up with them and do it, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Appreciate that. Any other further questions, comments for
Nope.
Rich? All right, go on to 6. Rich, this is consider request to accept proposal for the purchase and installation of primary clarifier gearbox, Carmel Sewer District Number 4.
You got most of it done for me already.
Yeah, I know. I have a habit of doing that.
So Infomark, the operators of Sewer 4, advised the engineering department that the primary clarifier drive gearboxes and shafts needs to be upgraded. There are 2 primary clarifiers, and the current configuration of the clarifiers is that there is 1 drive and 1 drive shaft that run both clarifiers. Currently, clarifier 1 is out of service as the shaft of the clarifier is bent and degraded and cannot be used. There is a concern it will fail. The current clarifier drive gearbox and shaft are part of the original plant and are 40-plus years old. Infomark indicated that this replacement equipment is sole source and has obtained the attached quote from the manufacturer, TAM Enterprises, at $23,658. With only 1 clarifier in service, this department has determined that having the second clarifier out of service places the town in jeopardy of non-compliance and the violations of our state pollution discharge elimination system permit. Potential failure of the clarifier in service constitutes an emergency. As such, we proceeded with this order on October 2nd, 2020. The planned repair involves installing separate drive units and shafts for each clarifier that would ensure redundancy of the system. If one clarifier goes down for any reason, The other would remain operational. Infomark has indicated that the clarifier gearbox has a life expectancy of about 25 years. We spoke with the controller, and there are insufficient funds in Sewer 4 budget and for this work, and the budget transfer will be required. The department requests that the town board authorize the purchase and installation of this new gearbox set from TAMS at a cost of $23,658.
Okay. Thank you, Rich. Any questions, comments on this agenda item for the engineer?
No.
Mike, you good? Frank?
The budget transfer, how much will it be? That'll have to be the budget transfer, do we know?
It would be the full amount.
Full amount.
Full amount, okay.
Yeah. Okay? All right, thanks, Rich.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening.
Yep, have a good night. Okay, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 on the agenda is Carmel Highway Superintendent Mike Simone. Welcome, Mike. First item, number 10, is to consider request to authorize the purchase of a 2005 BOMAG BW120 AU4 roller.
Yes, good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Prior to this, in one of the meetings I think we had probably within the last 2 months, we did, I got authorization to get rid of one of our rollers, which was a 1985 Beaver roller, which yesterday the auction closed, and surprisingly, this roller, which is not only 1985, you can't even get parts for it, we received some money for it, which was nice to hear.
Wow.
But being that said, we do need a roller in highway to compact a lot of the stuff we do. We do crossings, whatever. This is a roller that was owned by a local paving company. I think we all know the family. They expressed wanting to get rid of this roller because I think that they are doing away with that business. And I am aware of not only is it low hours, but also the use of it and the roller and the way it's been maintained, and it's in excellent shape. So I don't always like to buy used, but this is a very good used machine. So I look forward to using it. So.
Perfect.
Yeah, and looking at the comps, looks like, we're getting it for a pretty good, decent deal.
Yeah.
So, and it's
I'm
in
very
great shape.
familiar with this piece of equipment too, Kenny.
Yeah.
Very familiar with it.
Yeah.
It's like brand new.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
great.
So.
So that's,
Perfect.
I have no.
And that's within the budget. This is all within my budget, so it's.
Yeah. All right, so any board members have any questions, comments, concerns regarding this item? I think it's a great deal,
Nope.
for us, for the town, so let's go ahead and get it.
Perfect.
All right? All right.
Mike, quick question. This is a comparable one that you have on the as backup? With the,
Yeah,
with the-
yes,
with the
yes.
prices
This
are?
is
So-
the years, and what we're looking at is about the same mileage, the same hours on it.
So you're getting this one for almost $10,000 less than what they're selling
Well, right.
on the market?
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Yep. And if you notice, the ones that we got comparisons on are from California. I think shipping
Right.
alone would probably break
I'll
us.
switch over for sure.
Yeah, but really, what really sold me on this was the fact that the family that I know that ran this, and how well they maintained it. This machine is
Yeah.
impeccable. It's perfect.
It's like new.
Great.
Yeah.
It's in great shape,
Yep.
Good.
mechanically, everything.
Yeah.
Would be a good addition. Thank you.
It's a good deal.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mike, go on to 11, consider request to purchase bulk diesel, New York State Office of General Services.
Well, again, the contract's out. This is off a New York State bid. Global is believe the company that has got our bid for this year, so I think it's just a formality, Greg, that we just go through and authorize them as our diesel fuel deliverer for the following year. I will tell you that some of the good news that's come up recently, and we are probably within, I'm going to say probably days, if not hours, of having the pump that we moved up to Carmel ready for operation for our winter service.
Oh, good.
Which will increase our ability to have from 6,000 to 10,000 gallons of fuel on hand, just in case we do get any major storm that hits and is prolonged, and we can go through in a round, just the regular cleaning. One day we go through about 2,000 gallons, so it's well needed to have the
Hopefully it's going to be a
capacity there.
mild
So if it's a
winter.
two-day event or a longer...
Two-day event, we'll have, this is good for 4 or 5, and if we get that kind of snow, we're all in trouble.
We're in trouble.
Yeah.
All right.
Quick
Great.
question, the AdBlue, where do you get that? You just buy that as needed to add to the diesel?
Excuse me? No, we buy the diesel the contractor puts it in and has it delivered, so that it is already cut when we get it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, thank you.
yep.
Okay, Mike, go on to number 12. Consider request to retain highway rehab for in-place recycling.
All right, off of the Putnam County contract, we do this every year. Hot in place recycling is another means of ways that we refurbish the blacktop in town. I like to do it prior to any of the paving we do, because what it does is it refurbishes the undercourse. Also, doesn't have we don't have to put down any tack coat or anything, so that when we do go back and pave over this, it is a much true and level surface that is exact to what it should be, rather than the voids you can have over time. So, and again, it's a recycle. We're using the asphalt that's there, and we're just recycling it. And one of the good things out of this is that we usually go down and we put down less asphalt over top of it, rather than putting a 2.5 or 3 inch cap. We get down to like 1.5 to 1 inch mostly. So.
Okay, good system. We've been doing this for years, right?
Yeah. Matter of fact, the last highway superintendent in the 90s was using this process, and I found it out to be fantastic. So.
Kind of reminds me of those retread tires, the old
Yeah.
retread tires.
It's a proven process. Works really good. All right, any other questions for Highway Superintendent on this? All right, Mike, go on to the next one, 13. Consider request to authorize purchase of services off the Putnam County bid for Atlantic Paving Marking Incorporated.
Again, this is a contract that goes out to Putnam County. They bid it. We do our markings late fall, early spring, so we are coming up on the time. The inside there is the price there, and I will be marking most of the town roads either the end of this month or the 1st of October, because we still have some paving left to get done. Once I get done with the paving, we stripe our roads. So.
Okay, great. Questions, comments on this agenda item?
No?
No? All right, Mike, final agenda item 14, consider request to award bids for miscellaneous highway supplies and materials.
Yep, earlier in the year, we requested to go out to bid. Bids were received and opened. This is my suggestion to the lowest bidders that met all specifications. And this is an annual. We do it every year. And I think it's pretty forthright.
Mike, are the prices this year very similar to the ones last year?
Very much similar.
Yeah.
Very much, yeah.
Okay, nothing's
Yeah.
like really went up?
No,
or-
I will tell you that the wood waste processing seems to be down just a hair. Not a lot, but it's down just a little bit,
Okay,
which could be a good thing coming into the fact that we're still determining whether we're covered under, for
Under
AISA,
FEMA.
whether we're covered under FEMA, or we're going to have to absorb that cost, because we did have a lot of trees go down.
Yeah.
Over 175 trees in the town of Carmel, so.
okay.
But the rest of the bidders are pretty much all the same. I will tell you that, we've still bid sand, but in all honesty, we have gotten away from sand. We've gone to salt. Again, with all the new trucks we've purchased, with the ability to put down the liquids, less salt, with the computerized controls, we're down to where we're really minimizing what we put down to combat any storm, but yet keep the travel public safe. So,
And let's clean up in the spring.
yep. Yeah. Well, again, yes.
Yeah,
That's a biggie.
You don't
perfect.
see, I don't notice a lot of sand and salt on the shoulders of the road like you used to.
As you know, every year we used to have to clean up, and I mean, we would purchase, when you got close to 175 miles of road, we would purchase almost 8,000 tons of sand. That's on the road that we're putting down. When you think about it, over a year, you're going to have to get that back up, or otherwise, all of a sudden, your shoulders are going to start rising. Everything, wherever it bounces, it's going to start rising. Your catch basins are going to get full. Sand was something that was used and gave you some grit. I still use it in an ice storm because you're going to need it for some grit to get some traction. But again, it isn't, as I say, it's inert. It doesn't heat, cool, or do anything. All it does is go down and give you some traction. So if we can get away from it, it's probably the best bet. So.
Enough. Okay, great. Thanks, Mike. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. All right, so that completes the agenda items for this evening's Town Board work session. Is there any members of the public that are here now that would like to come up and comment on either any of the two agenda items at the voting meeting or any of the work session agenda items? Come on up at this time. Okay, there being none, is there anybody here for new business, the open forum portion of the meeting where you can come up and address the board on any town-related matters or business? Okay, there being none, I just have a couple of quick announcements.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any?
I have one.
All right, so you have one? Okay, why don't you start, Susan?
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody to please take this survey. This is your time for the voices to be heard for the future of the town of Carmel. You can go on the Carmel Town website to get the link, but it takes about 15 minutes to do, and it's just very important. This is going to be for the next 20 years, so we want your voices to be heard. Also, on Thursday, October 29th, we're going to have 2 in-person workshops. So they are limited right now. If we have to add more, we will. But right now, it's limited to the first 50 people that sign up. And what this workshop is to, again, to get your feedback and for you to ask any questions that you may have. There's going to be 7 different stations. This is regarding the codes for the town. This is regarding the aesthetics of the town. This is anything that you want to see in the town of Carmel for the next 20 years. Now is the time that you need to speak up. It is free. The survey, again, go to the town website, and the workshops, again, they're free. One is going to be at Sycamore Park at 1:30, and the other one is going to be here at Carmel Town Hall. We are going to be social distancing. The guidelines, you will need to wear a mask. Everything will be cleaned properly, so you don't need to, there's always a worry, but you don't need to worry. We're going to be doing the CDC guidelines. But I can't stress it enough, guys, because once we finish this and get the recommendations from the people that we hired, we're going to start putting together a plan for the town board to approve. So you don't want to come next year and say, hey, why didn't I get to say anything? You do have an opportunity to say something now. So I just need to stress that.
What time does it start here, Sue?
I think it's at 5 o'clock. It may be 5:30.
Here?
Yeah,
Okay.
here at Town Hall.
All right, it's 1 o'clock?
1:30, I believe it's 1:30 at Sycamore Park. Because we wanted to have 2 because we know some people don't like driving in the dark, or if you have young kids at home. And guys, actually, please, the young residents of the town, we want to hear from you. So while the kids are in school on that Thursday, or I don't know if they're doing the learning from home, come over to Sycamore Park. So that's why we tried to break it up. So in case you couldn't get out at night, you can come to the one at 1:30.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, great.
That's
it?
all I have. Thank
All right,
you.
thanks.
Oh, and I just want to congratulate the Carmel Police Department. They awesome. This was so wonderful
Yeah, it was nice.
today.
Yeah.
Put me in a good mood.
Recognition is good.
Yeah.
Real positive.
Absolutely.
All right. Frank, what do you have?
Yeah, this past weekend was an Alzheimer's walk. And normally, it's very well attended, but because of, COVID and everything, it's been done. They did smaller groups, and it's still continuing. The drive's continuing virtually. There's a friend who lost her mom this year, Joyce McCabe is her mom, who lost her battle with dementia. So she sits on the board of the Putnam County Alzheimer's Walk, and they're continuing with their fundraising drive, even past the walk that was this weekend. And the link to her site is act.alz.org/go/Bridget Zimmer to donate to Bridget's campaign for the Alzheimer's Walk. The goal is obviously to eradicate a world, or to have a world without Alzheimer's and dementia. COVID hit most of our population, but especially hard hit, among others, was the population with Alzheimer's and dementia, because they couldn't get people to come and visit them that they would normally. They couldn't go out to the places that they normally would do. And Bob, I know you know something about this as well. So I told Bridget I would make this announcement, and I'll make it again next week as well. But for anyone who wants to contribute and help her, again, it's I forgot my glasses, but it's act.alz. I don't need yours. .org/go-to/Bridget. No, I have them. I left them at home. Bridget Zimmer. And you can go and contribute. So, Bridge, thanks for giving us this information, and all the help that we can give you, we will.
Great. Thanks, Frank. Thank you. Just a few announcements I have. First thing I want to recognize and thank is a resident of Croton Falls Road. I'm not going to mention his name, but he did his own one-man cleanup of Croton Falls Road. I believe it was him and his family members. They picked up 14 bags of litter from along the shoulders of the road on Croton Falls Road, from Sheer Hill Road all the way down to Sandy Street. 14 bags, the orange contractor bags, he filled them up over 2 weekends, 2 separate weekends. So I want to thank him for all his efforts in maintaining and beautifying the town, and just there's a lot of litter out there, a lot of trash, and he saw that and he wanted to do something about it. And he pulled a lot of other stuff out of the woods as well, piled it up on the shoulder of the road, and we picked it up and disposed of it. So I want to thank that family. I don't have permission to give his name, but I'm sorry, I can't. But I want to thank him. Every year he pitches in, and he does a great job. And I also think there was a Girl Scout troop that I read in one of the local papers. I don't know which troop it was. They also went on a campaign to clean up litter in the town of Carmel, and they picked up numerous amounts of litter in orange garbage bags also. I want to thank that Girl Scout troop for that. So great work. Great. You know, we all have to pitch in to keep our town clean, and for those who are littering, please stop it. You know, find a proper receptacle. No need to throw it out of the window of your car. You know, wherever you're going, I'm sure there's a place to deposit it whenever you get there. So let's all do our effort in keeping this town clean. Just the 2 events I want to mention. You've heard about this. The e-waste drop-off day is on Saturday, October 24th, 2020, at the Michael Geary Inline Roller Rink parking lot. That's on Route 6 across from the Mahopac Fire Department. It's from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is for e-waste that you may have been collecting over the past couple of years. It's going to be a good event. I've gotten calls from quite a few people who do have electronic items that they like to dispose of. So that's on Saturday, October 24th, e-waste drop-off day. And we're also doing a Shred It event that day as well. So if you have items that you, legal documents and things like that you have at home that you'd like to shred to make sure it's properly disposed of, you could bring those shredded items the same day, October 24th, at the Michael Geary Rink from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. When you pull into the parking lot, the e-waste is going to be to your right, and the Shred It event will be to your left. So there'll be a sign there with arrows pointing which direction you should go in for what you're disposing of. Again, e-waste on the right. Come in off of Croton Falls Road. That's going to be the entrance, and you're going to exit out onto Route 6 from there, and socially distance and wear your precautions, your masks. But most people, hopefully we're going to have people stay in their cars. So if they have a TV they want to drop off, we'll have them pop the back of the car open and drop it off. I know I'm finishing up. So we got those 2. And the last item is the water meters. We really need you, if you haven't had a new water meter installed, if you live in a district that's serviced by municipal water, and you haven't had your meter changed out yet, please call National Metering Services. They're going to be sending a letter out. You should have gotten it by now. If you haven't received a letter, you can call the Town of Carmel Engineering Department at 628-1500, extension 184, to set up an appointment to have your new meter installed. These meters must be installed. They're required to be changed out, and National Metering Service is doing it right now at no cost to the homeowner. But if you don't have it done by them, and a contractor has to come out and do it, there's going to be a service charge associated with that, and you don't want that. So arrange to have that meter installed. Call the engineering department if you haven't gotten a letter, and they'll make an appointment for the National Metering Service to come out and install your new meter. That's all I have.
You
So
sure?
does anybody else have anything?
Good.
No. All right, so we're going to close the meeting from here because we're not going to go into executive session tonight. We have time to work on the budget.
Motion?
Yeah, we're not going to go in. We're not
No.
going in. No, we're just going to do it at another time, Mike. We have time.
Motion to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone. Be
night.
well. See you in 2 weeks, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because the planning board's meeting next week.